Good morning. Like every Sunday, I have collected the latest news and updates in the world of cinema. I'm gonna have a look at the movies and series that are coming out, the box office, and some major stories from celebrities. First of all, I want to talk about some series that we are expecting new seasons for them. The most interesting one would be Stranger Things Season 5. You wouldn't believe that every episode of this season had $60 million budget, and for the whole season it comes up to roughly $480 million. It's interesting to know that the whole season 1 had a total budget of $48 million, which means after 5 seasons the budget was increased by 10 times. The $48 million budget officially made this series the most expensive series in the history, and the only series that has spent $500 million for a single season. FYI, this record was held by the series of Lord of the Rings, which was supposed to spend $1 billion for the whole of 4 seasons. Another interesting fact is that Season 5 will have 8 episodes, and every episode will run between an hour and a half and 2 hours, and the final episode will run over 2 hours. These 8 episodes are split into 3 parts and will be released separately. The first 4 is set to drop on November 26th, the next 3 will be released on December 24th and 25th, and the final episode will come out on December 31st. Another series from Netflix that got a lot of buzz last week was Peaky Blinders. The first season of Peaky Blinders is still in production and hasn't wrapped up yet, and last week it was extended for the second season. Every season will have 6 episodes of an hour long, and the story is set in 1953. The characters we already know from the old Peaky Blinders will not be part of the new series, and the focus of the story will be on what happened to the next generations of Shelby family after World War II. The British screenwriter and director Stephen Knight, who was the creator of the old Peaky Blinders, will be making this series too, and Cillian Murphy will be producer in this project. Did you know that there is a rivalry between Netflix and HBO? We talked about the series from Netflix, and now let's see what's going on with HBO Max. There were 2 interesting stories from HBO Max. The first one, an official poster of A Night of the Seven Kings was released by HBO Max. Apparently, this series is a bit different from other spin-offs of Games of Thrones. How? Well, first, there will not be an opening sequence. It means that we will not hear the iconic theme music of Games of Thrones. And second, for the first time we will watch Games of Thrones without any talks about kings, rulers, or throne. The director has promised to George R.R. Martin, the author of the novel, that this show will focus on lower class and everyday people of Westeros, and he will stick to the original novel. The story is about Sir Duncan the Tall, a knight in the Seven Kingdoms, and Mad King, aka the King of Madness. The story takes place 50 years before Game of Thrones. The first episodes of this series will come out early 2026. And the second story from HBO Max. The very first official photos of Professor Dumbledore, played by John Lithgow, was finally posted on social media for the new Harry Potter series. Filming for this series is still ongoing and will start airing in summer 2027. Now let's move on to the movies that are coming out. Last week, George Clooney officially announced that the Ocean's 14 will be made, and the main cast including Brad Pitt, Julia Roberts, and Matt Damon will return. He declared that the contracts are signed and the budget is secured, and the production is planned for summer 2026. Warner Brothers will be funding the movie, but the director is not being chosen yet. However, rumors have it that David Leitch, the director of Deadpool 2, will direct the movie. Another old movie that will get a sequel is Heat from 1995, directed by Michael Mann. He has been trying for a while now to secure a budget for Heat 2, but could not manage to do so. However, the only company who agreed to give him the budget was Amazon. But there is one condition: only if Leonardo DiCaprio stars in the movie. Now, it's official. Amazon will give the money and DiCaprio will play the lead role as Chris. Val Kilmer played Chris in the first movie, but he has passed away now. Other actors who are being negotiated to join the film are Austin Butler, Adam Driver, and Bradley Cooper. The movie will have a $170 million budget and a non-linear story covering the events both from before and after the original story in Heat Part 1. The production is set to kick off in 2026 and will be released in summer 2027. Another story about Amazon: as you might know by now that Amazon has bought all rights to James Bond, so basically they own the entire franchise now. Last week they did something weird and strange which made James Bond fans worried all over the world. On James Bond Day, they changed all the posters of James Bond on their streaming platform and kinda censored them. How? Well, they removed the only 2 things that make up the whole James Bond identity: the gun and the Bond girl. In response to this, there were a lot of mockings and backlashes from fans all over the world on social media and made Amazon to back down a little bit and removed some of the posters. However, the Daniel Craig's James Bond movies are still being censored. Considering all this drama from Amazon, they will most probably make some substantial changes in the new James Bond movie that is supposed to be produced by Amazon and directed by Denis Villeneuve. Next up in the news, let's move on to some of the stories from Universal. The first story is about Fast and Furious. The last Fast and Furious movie had $300 million budget and almost became a commercial flop. Now for the next movie, Vin Diesel has asked Universal for a $340 million budget, but Universal told them to cut the budget down by $140 million, so they will be funding only $200 million. The pre-production started 2 years ago, and so far the main cast haven't signed, and even the script is not being written. Universal has given Vin Diesel until 2026 to make his decisions, and whatever he wants to do, the movie has to be ready by 2027. And the second story from Universal is about Michael Jackson's biopic, which is being postponed so many times by now. And the reason for that is that Michael Jackson's family is not happy with the story. Even Paris Jackson, the daughter of Michael Jackson, protested at the Venice Film Festival, saying they were not consulted at all during making this biopic. Due to all these objections, Universal had to make some changes and reshoot many scenes. The scenes involving drug use and child abuse allegations were completely cut out. The next story is about Ron Howard, the director of Beautiful Mind and Cinderella Man, who is best known for making biopics. This director is making a new movie called Alone at Dawn with Adam Driver and Anne Hathaway. The story is an adaptation from a book of the same name and tells the story of a US Air Force officer who was killed in Afghanistan in 2002. Now 15 years later, the US government sends a team to investigate whether this guy deserved to receive a Medal of Honor or not, and they uncover some very weird and strange stuff about this guy. In the next part of the video, we will briefly talk about what is going on in the world of celebrities. The most viral video of a celebrity last week was Cillian Murphy's reaction to Taylor Swift's engagement ring during the Graham Norton show. Taylor Swift showed off her engagement ring to the public for the first time, and although Cillian Murphy was trying to act like he was interested, but you could tell from his eyes that he was totally thinking how pointless the whole thing was. His reaction went viral and even turned into a meme. Cillian Murphy's son was also among the spectators, and everyone was amazed at how much he has taken after his father. The next story is about a drama between Charlize Theron and Johnny Depp during Paris Fashion Week. When Charlize Theron met Johnny Depp, she first greeted Emmanuel Macron's wife with a kiss, and Johnny Depp was waiting for her to say hi after she is finished with the greeting. But even Johnny Depp said hi to Charlize Theron, she ignored and walked away. These two have had a movie in the past together which flopped, by the way. However, most probably the reason for this behavior of Charlize Theron is the fact that she is fond of Amber Heard. Next story is about Nicole Kidman. She filed an unexpected divorce last week and got divorced. It's interesting to know that they signed a prenup when got married, saying that if her husband stays clean from drugs, Nicole Kidman will pay him $600,000 for every year they were married together. Since they have been married for 19 years, she has to pay him around $11 million. The kids will stay with Nicole Kidman and will only spend 59 days with the father. The father has paid all the child support upfront until they turn 18. There was another prenup between Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco, saying that if they ever got divorced, none of Selena Gomez's wealth would go to Benny Blanco. Selena Gomez is super successful and has a net worth of $1.3 billion, mostly coming from her cosmetics brand. And finally, we will have a look at the box office. Surprisingly, Taylor Swift hits #1 on the charts in box office. The name of the movie is Taylor Swift: The Official Release Party of a Showgirl. This is the first movie written and directed by Taylor Swift that premiered in 3,700 theaters, topping both Spotify and box office charts. The movie is basically a mix of her music videos, behind-the-scene footage, and her talking about how she wrote the songs. Her movie had a $15 million budget and sold over $50 million in the first week. The album got 250 million streams, making it the biggest in 2025. The movie got an A+ from CinemaScore, a 97 from Rotten Tomato, and a 47 from Metacritic, and snatched the lead from One Battle After Another, which dropped to second. One one battle after another is the last movie of Paul Thomas Anderson. This is the second week of this movie being on the big screen and sold another $50 million this week and over $118 million in total. Considering its $150 million budget, it's most likely to turn a profit in the next few days. This movie became the highest grossing film in Paul Thomas Anderson's career, surpassing There Will Be Blood. The movie has done so well so far, got a 95 on Metacritic and 8.3 on IMDb. Even Taylor Swift, who appeared on the Jimmy Fallon show, praised the movie and said, "Thank God we live in Paul Thomas Anderson's era." Another movie that has been talked about a lot lately was The Smashing Machine of Dwayne Johnson's. The movie sold only $6 million in its first week, and considering the $50 million budget, it's almost guaranteed to be a flop. This was so unexpected that even Dwayne Johnson reacted to it and said, "In the storytelling industry, you can never control box office sales. The only two things that you can control are acting and commitment." But he basically meant that I have done my job well, and if the movie doesn't sell well, that's not my problem. Alright guys, that's it for today. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and if you have any questions, suggestions, or objections, please leave a comment. I love you guys, I appreciate you guys, signing out.